Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we did a prediction for the 2026 midterms for both the House and the Senate, and I thought we would kind of finish off the trio per se by doing a video predicting the 2026 gubernatorial races. We have roughly 20 months to go, but still a lot of these races are going to be very interesting. They will determine the fate of a lot of these states. You know, if you elect a Republican governor, the state typically moves a little bit to the right. If you elect a Democrat governor, the opposite can happen. We've seen that in places like Florida. We've also seen the opposite happen in a place like Colorado with a Democrat governor, and the state gets increasingly more Democrat over time. So these are very consequential elections, and it is a midterm year. Usually the party out of power typically gains seats, although when it comes down to the governorships, there's a lot of moving parts. Midterms, are they exactly what they used to be? We kind of saw 2022, and it was kind of like a wash. Definitely there's a lot of moving parts here, but these races tend to be a little bit less nationalized and a little bit more just local at the state level. So we're going to fill this map out. I wanted to start off with the safe states, the governorships that are going to go Republican or Democrat by more than 10 percentage points. And we have Idaho, we have Wyoming, we have South Dakota, we have Nebraska, we have Oklahoma, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, and the state of Texas as well should be in this column, and Vermont, because you have a Republican governor there that is very, very liberal, but still always manages to get elected fairly easily. And on the other hand, we have the Democrat governorships. And by the way, guys, the ones I already filled out before I filled out this map were just governorships like North Carolina, Kentucky, Utah that are not up for re-election in either 2025 or 2026. The ones that are up this year are Virginia and New Jersey. We'll fill those out as we go, but I think California, it could be close for California, but still close for California is like 15 points or less. I think Hawaii fits in this column. I think Colorado, it's not a state that is really all that competitive anymore. I think that Massachusetts will be in the safe blue column, and the state of Maryland will be in the safe blue column. So that should be it. Actually, Florida I have going in the Republican column safe. So that should do it for the safe states. We can move on to the likely states. The states that are going to be going either Republican or Democrat between 5 and 10 percentage points. And we could start off with the likely Republican states. You have Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy, is he going to be the nominee? Well, he is endorsed by Trump. He's winning all the primary polls. But if Jim Tressel jumps in the race, things could get interesting. But I think Tressel, he probably win by more, but I think Vivek would win by over 5 if he's the nominee. Then you have Iowa. Kim Reynolds, her approvals have tanked a little bit, and she'll likely be facing a strong candidate, but Iowa is Iowa. It should likely stay in the Republican column. And then you have Kansas. Laura Kelly, she'll be term limited. This one, it's close to an auto flip. And then you have Alaska. Mary Peltola might make things interesting if she runs for the governorship, but I expect it to stay in the Republican column by 5 points or more. So beyond that, I think we have 2 more in this column. We have the state of New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire, you will see Ayotte win easily. They like their Republican governors up there that kind of are good fits for the Northeast. And you have Nevada, where the Republican incumbents in Nevada, they usually win handily without question. Shouldn't be tough at all. I do think that Nevada, you will see end up in the Republican column. Incumbents usually expand upon their margin of victories if they're popular, and Lombardo is popular. He'll be facing a tough candidate. If not, he'd probably win by over 10 points, in my opinion, but still he should win without any issue. So We have the state of Oregon on the Democrat side. They typically don't like their Democrat governors all that much, but they will elect them by narrower margins than they elect Democrats at the presidential level. There's usually like a third party in the mix as well that kind of throws a wrench in things for one side or the other. And then I believe New Mexico should go Democrat by more than 5 but less than 10. Illinois, you could argue that it could be safe, but I think Illinois for right now we'd put in the likely Democrat column. The state of Maine, Jared Golden may run for it. He might even win by more than 10. Rhode Island and Connecticut, I think right now, likely Democrat is more than fair for those states, as well as Pennsylvania. I actually don't think Josh Shapiro is going to win by a ridiculous margin, but I do think that, if he wins by like 6 or 7, he's going to be able to get by, but still down ballot Democrats are not going to have like this tidal wave that they had in Pennsylvania in 2022, at least compared to that. And it's very possible that you could see like the 7th and the 8th district hold for Republicans. Scott Perry's seat very well could hold for the Republicans. That's going to be a really tough one. But still, I think that Shapiro will win by like 6 or 7 against a tougher candidate this go around. So without further ado, I think we can fill out the remaining governorships on this map here. It's a little strange seeing these as like the swing states or the tilt to lean states, I guess you would say. But nevertheless, here we are. You have New York, which New York was very close this cycle for New York. Donald Trump fell short by 12 percentage points in the state, and it does seem as if Kathy Hochul's unpopular, but not unpopular in my opinion to the point where she's like going to lose her primary. I think Mike Lawler could really give her a run for her money, may even win. But as of right now, I think putting it in like the lean Democrat column is more than fair. I think it'll even be closer than it was in 2022 because Hochul is just more unpopular now, and the state is kind of moving to the right in some way, shape, or form. So you have New York there, and then you have New Jersey. This one is very close. I think it's going to be a pure toss-up this fall. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, but Republicans in New Jersey does seem as if the state is more competitive than ever. I think that Democrats probably are narrowly favored to hold that governorship, but there's a clear shot at a flip there. Again, this state was decided by 5 points and change, just like Arizona. I mean, this is how close New Jersey was this past election cycle. So you have that, but also Virginia. I think Virginia is going to flip into the Democrat column. Winsome Sears, I mean, she's not like the worst or the best candidate overall, but she's not Youngkin level. And on top of that, she has kind of had her run-ins with Trump that have kind of caused the base to not like her. And then you have Abigail Spanberger, who's kind of like this deep state type of figure, CIA. She's got all these donors lined up. She's probably going to win. I think Republicans would be better off spending resources on New Jersey than Virginia this fall. So then you have Georgia. Brian Kemp, he's term limited, probably runs for Senate, probably wins the primary and the general. I don't know who's going to go for the governorship. I think if Burt Jones goes for it, it kind of balances out the ticket because he's slightly more MAGA. Kemp is slightly more like establishment friendly. But Burt Jones is somebody who could still go out there and he'd win. Democrats in Georgia, not a big bench. What are they going to run, Stacey Abrams again? I mean, seriously, I'm not sure who they're going to run. But I'd probably say that Georgia is lean Republican, especially because it's the midterms. And typically, the higher propensity electorate in Georgia, which is not the same as it is in like other states like Michigan, is more Republican friendly. So Republicans have that going for them. But speaking of Michigan, Republicans do have a lot going for them in Michigan because the Democrats can't get their act together, and they failed to recruit their star candidate, Mike Duggan, the mayor of Detroit, who is going to be running as an independent, and he seems hell-bent on running as an independent. So unless that changes, I think it's fair to say that, yeah, a Republican probably wins a three-way race, although I wouldn't even count Duggan out entirely. It's possible the final margin's like, 37 to 33 to 30 or something in that ballpark. So you have that, and then you have Wisconsin, where you have Eric Hovde teasing a run for governor against Tony Evers, who completely just lost his mind, saying that mothers are, I guess you would say the term mother is offensive and you have to use inseminated persons. That's definitely going to hold them back a few points, in my opinion. But again, Wisconsin, I'd probably be more inclined if Republicans do win the Supreme Court, which I think they've got a good shot at, to say that Evers could go down. But beating incumbent governors is pretty tough. I think it's going to be a very close race, but as of right now, I have it as Tilt D. Although beating an incumbent governor after 2 terms is probably a little easier than beating him after 1 because of fatigue and things like that. So we have the state of Minnesota, where you have Tim Walz. He could run for another term. He could go for Senate. I don't know what's going to happen. But regardless, Minnesota is too far gone, in my opinion. It is a midterm year where you're probably going to see higher turnout in the Minneapolis area compared to a lot of like the more working class rurals. I still think it could be close, especially if Walz is the nominee, but I have it as lean Democrat for now. And then we go down southwest to the state of Arizona, which is not the same Arizona it even was in 2022 because the party registration data is far more favorable for Republicans than it was back then. Donald Trump won the state by nearly 200,000 votes, winning Maricopa County by 71,000. Now, it is a midterm year, but the Republican Party's getting its act together in terms of turning out voters in the state of Arizona, and Katie Hobbs is not that popular. Usually incumbent governors, they only go down if they are not popular. She's not popular. Overall, I think it's going to be a narrow flip. I think Andy Biggs could be the nominee. Karen Taylor Robson kind of has like the half Trump endorsement. She'll try to run on that. But either way, I think that it's going to be decided by like 3 points or less, probably less than 2. But I think the Republicans are going to flip that back regardless of who has the nomination. So without further ado, that's 29 for the Republicans, 21 for the Democrats. We have the Democrats picking up Virginia. We have the Republicans picking up Kansas, Arizona, and Michigan off that technicality there. It's going to be an interesting midterm next fall. There's a lot to watch, and we just got to do our part and go vote. But we got time. I'm sure this map is going to change quite a bit over the next year and a half. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.